Hello, welcome back to Mark's Garden UK at Rose Cottage near Nantwich in Cheshire. Tulips, or what's left of them. These are the tulips we've had this spring and early summer, and we've had a fantastic show from these tulips. Now there's a bit of a backstory behind these tulips. I planted these really late. I left it till January this year, and I posed the question, is that too late to plant tulips? And several of you replied and said, no, you often plant your tulips late, and you were right, because despite the fact that these were planted late, they've been incredible and magnificent. I've loved watching them. However, they've come to their end and they're now past their best. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you and show you what I'm going to do with these tulips to give them the best chance of blooming again next year. Now, I don't have a commercial relationship with Thompson and Morgan, but that's where these tulips came from, and credit where it's due. They've been excellent, so thank you, Thompson and Morgan. I've got my hat on today because it's so sunny, and my mum's always telling me to put my hat on to protect my ears and my bald patch, so that's why I'm wearing the hat, so I hope you can see my face. I've also got my brand new bypass secateurs for this job. And as you can see, the petals of the tulips have died, and in the sunlight they've become quite crispy. And they're still a beautiful colour, but they're not very pretty. And one by one, in the wind and the rain, they will disintegrate and fall off and fall onto the floor, and behind them they will leave these little seed heads. And this is probably not new to most people, but those seed heads are now drawing energy from the plant. So what we need to do now is to preserve the energy in the plant is really just go around and remove all the seed heads. So that's what I'm going to do next. Just using these secateurs, just snip off all these little seed heads. I don't know whether if you planted those, they would grow into tulips or tulip bulbs. If you have any experience of that, let me know in the description box below this video, but I'm going to snip them off and discard them. So there we have a bare tulip plant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 11 tulips in this pot, which means there's 11 bulbs under the ground. Now, it is said that tulips that have been kept in pots are being kept under stressed conditions. So it's less likely that these will reflower in 12 months' time. However, there are things that you can do to improve the chances of these blooming again next spring, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this video. And the first step, as you've just seen, is I've removed all these tiny little seed heads which are drawing energy from the plant. So by removing them now, the plant can use its energy and focus on growth of the bulb. So what you do next is you carry on treating this as a living plant, as a living tulip, as you have been doing in the year to date. So keep watching it, feed it occasionally so that it continues to grow, and let the foliage just die back naturally. You don't start cutting the foliage off, you just let the foliage die back naturally, and that foliage again will be feeding the bulb, and you leave it there to let the foliage dry back for 6 weeks after blooming. So around 6 weeks after blooming, you take all these bulbs out of the pot, you take all the soil off them, and then you store them in a net bag in a dark place, and you leave them there until the back end of the year. In other words, late autumn, early winter, and that is when you can replant them. Now, I won't be replanting these bulbs back into pots for here at the front of the cottage, because there's only a low chance that these will bloom again. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put them in the wildflower meadow at the far corner of my garden. Who knows, I might just get a bonus display of beautiful tulips next year. So that's the advice really for tulips if you want to try and encourage them to bloom next year. Wait till the blooms have finished and the petals are starting to fall off. Snip off all the little seed heads so that the energy goes back into the bulb. Let it die back naturally, but keep feeding it and watering it for 6 weeks. Then dig them up, separate all the bulbs, rub off all the soil, put them in net bags, store them in a cool, dark, dry place, and then in November time, plant them out again as you would a normal bulb that you might have just bought from Thompson and Morgan. I'll be buying mine from Thompson and Morgan. Again, I'll put a link to their website in the description box below, but I'm not on any commission, so it's up to you who you go to. If you want to, you can tell me in the comments box below this video where you get your tulips from. So there we go, tulips, what to do when they finish blooming. These secateurs and this hat, by the way, if you want to buy them, they're off Amazon, and I'll put the description in the comments box below, the link to these two products. I did a review video on these. I found them to be a very useful pair of bypass secateurs. Anyway, links below. I do earn a commission and it helps me with projects around the garden. I thank you for your support, and I'll see you soon for some more Mark's Garden UK adventures. Bye for now.